What news? All right, we're alive. We're live. We're also alive. All right, welcome everyone to the Survivor Maryland Major Conflict episode 14 live show. I've got a wonderful panel of guests. As always, I am Anders. I'm the host. I'm sure you hear enough of me during the show, but it's too bad you're going to hear more of me. I'm going to introduce my wonderful co-hosts, Erin. Thank you again for being here. I'm sorry, Jaren. Thank you so
That's
much for
me.
being here. You're so happy. You're so peppy. You're wearing a hat this time.
So happy.
Is the hat blue because of your feelings?
It is. Yeah, I actually came in the stream as Sad Erin, but I had to follow the J protocol here, so my name is changed. But yes.
Oh, I want to change mine.
Here, I'll change it for you. I think I'm the only one who can.
Can we just make it Jam?
Oops, that was the wrong way to add the J. All right, there we go. All right, joining us, the king of streaming with over 4 trillion followers, Mr. Jack Connors.
That's me. Hello, everyone. Resident Survivor Maryland superfan here. Twitch extraordinaire, whatever.
From a future Survivor Maryland season and a top commenter on our videos, Mr. JS.
Hey everyone. I also did the Survivor charity thing this summer.
Yes, you also ran the Survivor charity thing, which is where people probably will recognize you. He's also a host. Maybe. And joining us from the online gaming community, another production member of Endure. Can you tell that I have friends in Endure? Did far better than me in only one time of trying, Joshua.
What's up?
This episode, I really said, what if I get all white men with J names who are very flamboyant? And then finally, joining us after one of the most divisive episodes and probably the worst result that we could all think of, Janji. Angie, it's so, I guess, bittersweet to see you on here. How have you been? It's been 4 years since this happened. What's changed in your life?
So much. I actually moved out of DC, bought a house in Maryland, got a dog, got engaged.
Oh my God. Angie's going through all the milestones right now.
Yeah, I'm adulting really hard.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
None of us have reached any of that.
I got a dog.
That's me.
Yeah, that's a dog. That's incredible. Yeah, I've been following you on Instagram on your whole journey. It seems like across the United States or just with the world, really.
Yeah, I love to travel, so can't get enough.
So Angie, let's talk a little bit about this episode. Watching it back, how are you feeling? What is going through your head? What did we miss about Angie's game that wasn't really shown?
Oh God. Well, on top of not having good luck, I have really bad memory. But
you won the memory cube challenge, Angie.
Oh yeah, that's true. I have short-term memory, but long-term memory is very, very bad. I can't really remember. I honestly wish I had played a little bit harder, if anything, because I don't think I talked to as many people as I could have. I think I was really busy that season. But I mean, I think you did pretty well on editing. I stuck with Dane for most of the time after, once we got Sadie out. Dalaran, just talked to her once at one time, although it was a great time. Me and Santi, I think we didn't talk. We talked, but we didn't work together as hard. And then same goes for Tim and Doug, I think. So my main source was literally Dane, if anything. But yeah, that's all I can really remember.
So I remember you were very much from the moment the merge hit, you said, I really want to get out Doug. I am threatened by him. I don't trust him. And you never really found an opportunity. If, let's say, Doug didn't have the stranglehold of everyone in this game that he did this season, what would you have liked to have done? Who would you like to have worked with once the merge started? What would your ideal sort of alliance be?
Oh, well, Morgan, of course. Honestly, if it was an all-girls alliance, I think that would have been great. I think at one point I could have worked with Sadie, Abby, Dalaran, right?
Yeah.
And Josh. So I guess that would have been
all-girls alliance.
Well, yeah, Josh is always, included in there, girl power. So that's like an option. Honestly, when Amanda was about to go out, I think I wish I had worked with her instead of voting with, I don't remember who I voted with, I guess the guys. But yeah, keeping Amanda in, I think that would have been great.
Yeah, it's a shame that Amanda had to go. It's a shame that she didn't just work with Jam in the first place.
I know.
Get out Dane, get out Santi.
Man, Jam would have ruled the world, if only.
If only.
If only.
Let's actually go back to that moment. So that episode is really where I feel like the game falls apart a little bit for Jam. And I think puts you and Morgan in probably a terrible position come merge. So you, Morgan, Jasmine are super tight. You come into this swap with the majority of Chikasha, with Dane already throwing out Amanda's name. What do you think you could have done to have made that round good for Jam and especially good for you?
Well, actually, looking at the episode, I did think if I had told Santi about Jam way ahead of time, maybe he wouldn't have swapped over to Dane and Tim so quickly. Because I think he might have been a little bit freaked out when he found out that I had like a girls' alliance with Jam. And because of that, he like didn't see how he fit into him working with us. Or I don't know. I don't know if we would have been able to convince Amanda to vote with us as well. So I think I would have gone like the Santi route, just like letting him know beforehand, just so he doesn't freak out. I don't know. You tell me. Did you see anything in the clips that I could have done better?
I think I think you hit it probably on the money on the Santi situation. Santi obviously heard about this thing that you weren't being honest about, and then like you wouldn't vote Morgan, so it just became a thing of, I don't know if me and Angie can trust each other. And that was shown later when you two kind of fought and decided to stop talking for a little bit. Can we talk more about the Santi relationship in this season, because it's confusing? Like, you guys are working closely together, but also never really working together. Like, it's always kind of, I'm not really working with Santi.
Well, I remember in the beginning, he was in like the majority alliance with like Liam, Mike, Jasmine himself, and
Abby.
Oh, Abby was in there. Yeah, Abby. Sorry. And then I was mainly working with Jam at the time. Josh was kind of like on the side. I didn't actually get as close to him as I should have, but we would always like tell each other things that we would hear. And I actually remember this one time Santi actually he meant to text that group, but he meant to text me. Like, he was sending me screenshots of things that were happening in the majority alliance, but he accidentally sent it to them. So then I thought that was really funny, because then they like found out that like me and him were kind of close.
I love that mistake.
Yeah, I know. It's like the texting, it can go wrong really, really fast. But yeah, I think like we always had an idea that we were going to work together in the future, regardless of like how far other people went. So I think we were always in our future plans, rather than we didn't have to be hand in hand in every decision we made pre-merge, I guess.
Would you have taken Santi to the final two?
Probably not, to be completely honest. I mean, I don't think I would have won with him. But yeah, I think like even in my confessional, like at the end, I said that I was going to play for my own game rather than relying on like emotions within the game. So I think I probably would have not taken him. But yeah.
So let's talk.
I have a question. Did you want to turn against him before Final Six? Because this was the first time you really was like, no, screw you, Santi. Like, did you want to do it before this vote at all?
I think the thought came here and there, but I don't think I would have acted on it beforehand. I think my main focus was Doug at the time, because he had like the most connections. I probably would have tried gunning for Santi like maybe after Doug or probably Tim. I think if I had stayed in the game, it probably would have been Doug gone out, then Tim, or I don't know. I guess Tim and Santi I would have, depending on who won immunity and everything. But I probably would have tried taking Dane and Dalaran to the end at that point.
You would have won. Oh God. We're all robbed.
That's why Tim didn't want to flip. He saw that as it's questionable if Dane and Dalaran would have wanted that, but you wanted it. Let's talk a little bit about Doug and those relationships. So you vent several times during the season. It's like you'll go to someone and then they'll go to Doug, or like you'll suggest something and then they'll be like, maybe. Like the things that peek out to me are you'd go to Dane and you'd be like, hey, maybe we should do something about Doug, maybe we should do something about Tim, and he'd be like, well, let me consult Tim more on what to do. Or you go to Tim and you'd be like, let's go for Doug. You'd be like, but we need Doug to get rid of Santi. Mm-hmm. How frustrating was it? How much of an alliance were you, Dane, and Tim ever really?
I mean, me and Dane were pretty close. I will say that. I don't think I fully trusted Tim because I knew he was really dependent on Doug, which is why the whole like rocks happened, because we were scared that he was going to tell Doug the plan regardless, which is why we were trying to force his hand into, or not force his hand, but trick him into going for like Santi or whoever he wanted at the time. But yeah, it was very frustrating. Every single person I would talk to, I feel like they would always try not to get out Doug at the time. And I just remember like at one point or another, I feel like I kind of gave up because it seemed like a lost cause. But I would put feelers out there, you know, every time I would talk to someone just to see like, you know, what they're feeling. Like, do they want to get Doug out eventually? I don't know.
Totally. Let's talk about this vote because this did come out at the very last second. So you were talking to Dalaran basically like an hour before Tribal. Was the hope, what was your plan going into it? Because before it was like either a tie vote for Santi or it's going to be Dane. What was your thought process?
Can't remember, but I think it was definitely me, Dalaran, Dane going for Doug, trying to blindside him. And then I think what I told Tim, I kept texting him this, and this is definitely my fault that he kind of got confused, I guess, because I would text him one thing, and then at Tribal, I was saying that I was going to go for Dane, and I think that's why he ended up going for Dane, because he thought I was sticking to what the original like plan was. But I was texting Tim to vote for Santi, so then if Doug had an idol, maybe he would play it on Santi, and then it would gear the attention away from Doug, so then we can blindside Doug. But I think, yeah, it was honestly my fault. I feel like I should have met up with Tim like beforehand, just told him like, hey, I'm going for Santi 100%. So then he would vote for Santi, and then he would probably think that me and Dane are voting for Santi. If that makes sense.
Like a 3-2-1 split.
Yeah, kind of. So it played out in my head.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So this is a little bit of insight from the next episode, but I still think it's important. The moment that Tim decided to vote for Dane was when Angie said during Tribal, I'm going back to the old plan. I'm voting for Dane. Because when you said that, Tim was like, I don't want to stick out. I will also vote for Dane.
Yeah. So it was my fault, I think.
Do you remember what happened that night of Tribal? So we had filmed the entire questioning segment, but it had not recorded, so we had to do it again.
Oh.
So the first time, Angie did not say that line. The second time she did.
So what you're saying is...
Oh no. It's
so
Anders'
this is a
fault.
scripted TV
but,
show.
No, it's not my fault. I want to make this clear. I didn't even know going into Tribal what Angie, Dalaran, and Dane were doing. I thought it was going to be a Dane vote. Because this happened literally like while I was setting up Tribal. Angie and Dalaran meet for the first time.
We would have been happier with that.
Oh.
But so Angie, let's go to the moment where you see a tied vote, and then did you ever think about flipping? Did you ever think, I don't want to go to rocks, I'm just going to flip my vote and vote out Dane?
Well, I know the second vote, I definitely didn't second guess that I was going to split. So I like 100% voted for Doug without hesitation. And then at one point when you read the second vote, I think I even said in the video, like I was kind of hesitating, like I kind of wanted to flip. But then I think once Dalaran started talking, I was like, okay, you know what? Like, no, we've talked about getting Doug out for so long. It has to happen now, because regardless if he doesn't get out, then he's gonna win. Like, you know, like that's what I was thinking. Like, he had 2 idols, he was guaranteed Final Four, blah blah blah. So
He brought out an idol and said as such.
yeah, so I think I would have. That's why I stuck with him, like voting him out.
So the question of what was that process like when you're trying to convince Santi and Tim to just vote out Doug? Did you feel like you were going to rocks immediately 100%, or did you feel like there was a chance you could convince Santi and Tim to do the thing?
The thing. I think Tim, I feel like we could have kind of convinced him. Oh yeah. I think Santi, I don't think he would have ever budged. I think at that point he was guaranteed to not flip. 1, Doug is like his roommate, and then 2, like I can see where he's coming from. Like, he felt blindsided, and if all of these people are trying to get out Doug, then he's probably next. So he's probably like, I don't think he would have flipped. If only, I wish we could have talked before the second vote. Like, that would have been nice, but that's like not a thing, right? You have to just go straight into the second vote.
I mean,
right?
We could do whatever we want, but I didn't want that.
Okay, yeah. Because then I think Tim would have flipped, and then it would have been 4-1, 4-2, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been 3-1, the revote.
Oh yeah, with the revote, yeah, 3-1.
So we get the double tie. It's going to rocks. How are you feeling with rocks? Like, when you're reaching into the bag, do you feel?
Oh my
What?
God. Okay, guys, when I reached into the bag, I swear to God, I picked one up, let it go, and then picked another one up, because in my head, I was like, this is going to be the bad one. So I dropped it, and then I picked another one up, and that was the red rock. It was horrible. Like, I remember this moment like so bad, because it's haunted me ever. For 4 years, it's haunted me. It's so bad. Oh.
And to think, only a few episodes before, you went, "What's rocks?"
I know.
Oh no, sorry, who's rocks?
Who's rocks?
Who's wrong? I never watched Survivor before this, so I watched a couple of Survivor Maryland beforehand. That's what made me apply to begin with. But before that, I never watched the actual TV show, so I was a newbie. I will say that.
Do you keep in touch with anyone from your season, Angie?
Well, yeah, Jam. We actually started watching the episodes together. For the past couple ones, we didn't get to live watch it together, but I will say, like, we kind of more recently reconnected because of this coming out. And then everyone else, we like follow each other on like Instagram and stuff. Santi like reached out when this first started airing, so we kind of like connected shortly, and then yeah, I think that was mainly it. Oh, Eric started watching the shows with us too. We have like a little messenger group.
You mean to tell me you're not engaged to Santi?
Oh yeah, Erin, you were saying that, right?
My dreams are crushed.
No, I am not engaged to Santi, but I'm sure Santi will find a great girl when the time comes.
He already has Doug. Okay, I think.
Oh yeah.
He went to rocks for him. You know, that's the only rock they need.
They cuddle in bed at night. You know, what can you do?
What can you do? So Angie, walking away from this experience, if you could go back and do anything again, if you could start over the season, what would you do to change the game, and why would it be immediately targeting Doug? I'm kidding. What would it be?
No, I would have. I'm just kidding. I think I said it earlier, but I think just playing a little bit harder, trying to connect more, like with more people. I think I didn't know that the relationships within Survivor game is like so strong. Like you need to constantly be talking to people and trying to communicate. Like you can't just like go to the games, try to win, and then right before tribal, like try to make a move. You have to like constantly talk to them. Yeah.
And then Angie, this is an important question. Was Ivy robbed?
I
You regret that decision?
Yes. Oh, I felt so bad. I wish she didn't go up. Man, I don't get why everyone was like kind of good for her at the beginning, but I felt for it. They were saying she's dangerous, and I was like, oh no.
Ivy's robbed, Angie's robbed, Jasmine was robbed, Morgan was robbed.
Ah,
And that blonde girl. That blonde girl was
Teresa.
robbed. My favorite. Oh my gosh.
And Natalia, all
Not
the way.
Teresa.
Angie, okay, if you could have designed a perfect final three from anyone at the merge, who would it have been?
The merge. Well, me, Morgan. Oh God, me and Morgan.
That's it. You don't need anyone else. That's it.
Oh, this is a good question. Is Evan truly Gucci? You've interacted with Evan a few times. Is he truly Gucci?
He is truly Gucci. I would want to see him wearing all Gucci. Then he would be the epitome of Gucci.
This is an actual question I have. Let's go back to the vote where Josh goes home. Was there ever a chance you were going to stick with that alliance and vote out Dane?
I don't know. I hadn't worked with any of those girls before. Josh and I. Well, I could say the same thing about the guys. So I honestly, I don't know. I think it would have been nice. But I don't know how I would have worked through breaking up the girls after like we started picking off the guys, because I think Sadie, Abby, and Dalaran would have stuck together no matter what. So I don't know. I think I honestly think I was glad that I chose the way that I did in that round, personally. But who knows? In the game of Survivor, anything can happen. So
Anything can happen. Does anyone have anything they'd like to ask Angie? Jack is the #1 Angie super fan.
Okay, yeah, I have a question for you. How does it feel knowing that you're the most iconic Survivor Maryland contestant in the history of Survivor Maryland?
Oh, Jack, I'm blushing. I'm just kidding. That is so not true, though.
No, it is.
Any other. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to be in this. Like, Anders, thanks for letting me play and ultimately being a great host. I'm excited to see the rest of the episodes. Like, I honestly don't know what happens, like what games were played or anything. So I'm going to be tuning in live.
Yeah, she wasn't even at Final Tribal. She doesn't know.
Okay, well, that part I know, but going up to it, I don't remember all the moves and stuff.
Look, Angie, I would have brought you back
only
a million times if I could have.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Also, congrats on your 2 immunity wins. Immunity winning queen, almost 3.
Don't
give
tell
Dane
us.
that win. This is a question.
Yeah.
How are you able to keep your composure, as it seemed like almost every plan you came up with was getting blown up because everyone was too scared to make a move?
Oh God. Very frustrated. I don't know. I did the best I could, I guess. I try to. I don't know.
You used the term "everyone is up someone's butt," and I'd like to cut someone's butt off.
Oh yeah.
You still stand by those words?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I did my best, I guess. My composure was. Anders edited me pretty well, so I will give the hand to Anders for making me look good.
The only way to edit you better is to include you more.
And that's what I always said.
yeah.
Because
Aw.
I trimmed down a bunch of your confessionals. You're my favorite instantly. Like, I watched like maybe a minute and I messaged Anders and I was like, she's winning. She's the winner. It's her. It's her. Like, you're just overall just a lovely person, a lovely human being.
Thanks, Jack.
Of course.
Fun fact, Angie and I pledged together in our fraternity. So we're
So they're the
correct.
same. When he's on Survivor Maryland, JS and Angie have the exact same game. They're very fun to watch, both fan favorites.
No, we're going to be very,
Game.
very different. Very, very different.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on here, Angie. Have a wonderful night on the East Coast. Congrats on getting engaged. I'm glad you finally got a rock that doesn't disappoint you.
That's clever.
I like that.
Thank you. I just came up with it. I did. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you at the finale, which is next week.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
I know. I can't believe it. Of course. Bye-bye.
Hi, Angie.
All right, so let's talk about this episode.
I can't believe you just said that.
Why? What is it? She just got rocked out. It's a very
No. That was great. That was really great. And now she's a white rock and not a red rock.
It's true. Well, you can hope. Okay, if you're gonna engage Angie, you better be spending the money. So let's talk about this episode. I wanna say I said this a little bit before the stream, but this result, the Doug votes, I did not know about them going into tribal. So I thought it was going to be a Dane vote. I walk over to the voting urn to organize the votes. I see 3 Doug votes, and I am freaking out. I'm like, oh, no. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I knew it was going to be a tie, but I'm like, there's a chance Doug doesn't play it, and he goes home on a revote. So I had to be very... I could not show any emotion, but I was so overwhelmed. So I get back, I put the urn down, I'm shaking. I knocked
shaking in your leather jacket. You're just shaking.
My leather jacket.
You're like, if you have a hidden immunity idol, you should play. I mean,
I was like, I can't give away that there is something exciting here, but
well, he almost knocked
really
the urn over.
Yeah.
The Doug votes was spilled out, and he would have been like.
Well, I thought if I smiled too big, Doug would know, because I mean, Doug was aware every time of how much he was controlling things. I would say something like, "Do you guys think Doug is a threat? Didn't he win most likely to win?" And they'd be like, "No." And I'd be like, okay.
I mean, why the hell did he not play his idol? And why didn't Santi not play his idol? I don't get it. He has enough idols to hand out to the whole wide world.
Because
I mean, it really makes no sense. I mean,
Dane
cocky, very
Dane
cocky.
gets to read at Final 5. Dane is about to get to read. He's just literally. Doug will play an idol for everybody else that's not safe, and Dane will get to read next vote. Period. That's just. There's no other option. Otherwise, what? Doug's gonna go to Final Tribal, hold up his 3 idols, be like, didn't have to play them.
He's so lucky.
The only reason I can think they didn't play the idols is they said there's no way in hell that Dalaran votes against us. And they just thought there won't be a majority. I don't need to play it.
Yeah, no, I get the concept of we won't need to, but you also Doug said it in this episode. He goes, I have excess. It's when you make too many cookies and you give one to your dog. That was
your dog.
Santi.
Josh, when you make too many cookies, do you give yours to your dog?
No, I don't really eat cookies, and I keep my dog really healthy too.
Oh my god.
This is yes and. All right.
I'm gonna be a skinny legend, okay, Anders?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, Doug really is just flaunting his 3 idols and still refuses to play any, and it's going to be Final 5 next round.
Yeah.
He almost
I
went
don't get
home
it.
with 3 idols in his pocket. People
He
love
gave
to
one to
Santi.
Santi. He gave one to
Santi
Santi.
and Doug both knew that they had votes coming their way. They both heard it throughout the week. What were they thinking?
It's insane to me.
It's crazy.
Had Santi drawn that rock, they each would have had an idol that could have prevented that from happening.
I was really hoping that was what was going to happen so bad. You love to see that kind of cockiness get rewarded with a
rock draw. Yeah. My biggest question of the episode is when they were deciding right before the actual rock draw, they were like, okay, what should we do here? Should we vote out Doug? And everyone's like, me. Doug pulled out his pocket being like, oh, I do have an idol.
And I
why did he do that? And B, why didn't people be like, he has an idol. What are you doing? Let's vote him out. We can get him out of the idol.
That he has over everyone is honestly insane. I mean, you see it a lot. You see people with that kind of power, but for just like what you said, for him to actually act on that, to pull that out, and still nobody has this. What? Nobody cared.
I mean, listen, Dane lied to Tim.
Is that like did everybody give up? I don't understand.
Dane lied to Tim. That.
Yeah.
Dane lied to Tim.
I mean, here's the thing. I think the thing with that is like, I think it doesn't matter what Doug does. Tim and Santi are going to have his back regardless. And at that point, like they had the leverage in that situation. Like because Tim had immunity, he was able to say, listen, we go to rocks. Like your side has a 2 in 3 chance of drawing it, whereas my side only has a 1 in 3. So it's going to be Dane going home or it's going to be rocks. Like they had the leverage to be able to do that. So at that point,
what
like
losers.
it's worth it to vote out.
Also the conversation of like friends versus the game too, that they're bringing up in this, and yet they're all playing right into it, handing this on a silver platter to Doug.
I think for Santi, that's friendship, but Tim thinks he can beat Doug. He does.
Well, that's because we have to believe him.
It's the funniest thing he's like said all season, that he can beat Doug.
That's the most hilarious joke, and it's constant. I will also say this: me and Micah, who were filming this moment, when Doug pulls out his idol, I looked at Micah and I'm like, "What the fuck? Are you are you kidding me? Like, come on! It's the cockiest thing someone does." And he said it with like, "There's nothing you can do." It's like they literally
could do it.
They're going to eliminate you.
They literally could be like, "Oh, we can take him out and his idol right now." Like that's never happened in any like series whatsoever. Like I could not believe it. I would like to like go through like who made the right decision and who made a wrong decision, because some people made a right decision and some people made a wrong decision.
Yeah, Doug. Yeah.
Did Santi make the right decision? Like, should Santi have been like, "Oh, let's take out Doug"? Because he had an idol in his pocket and he could have continued on.
Well, clearly never going to do that.
I mean, in a perfect world, Santi would have realized that Doug is like his only other threat in the game. I mean, just looking like at the it's hard for Angie to even like beat Santi or Doug. Santi has one of Doug's idols. Santi can just be like, "Bye, Doug, bye." Use an idol at Final 5, win immunity probably at Final 4, and then go to the end with Dane, Tim, Dalaran, or Angie. He could be any of these people.
Wins.
I do think Santi has been building his final tribal speech in his mind as I got here with my roommate. Like that's his lead-in at his final tribal speech, and so he's going to get there like that. That's how.
But do you win with that kind of a mentality? No.
I think he is banking on the fact. I think he's banking on a bitter jury. That's what Santi's banking on, is that he's been nicer to the jury.
But this was like pre-BB18, BB19. Like, what was he thinking?
Yeah, girl, the only bitter people are the audience. So,
yeah.
I feel like Survivor Maryland juries tend not to be bitter because, like, we have lots of time to think about it. We can
literally look at season 3 and tell me that's not a bitter jury. We've got a Terry stand over here.
No, I'm not a Terry fan. I actually hate him. But Feluke was a character. But also, did anyone find for the first time ever in their life that they were like, "Wait a minute, I'm rooting for Dane"? Like, it was a very weird feeling for me.
Dane train, baby, keeps on rolling.
No, we're still not on the Dane train. It's gonna derail next week. It's fine. It's over.
I saw the funniest meme on Twitter. It's the Sue from Glee meme. And it said Anders when casting Dane, and it's I'm gonna cast a white man so mediocre. I saw this and was rolling because in my mind it's like Dane is the one you choose. There's still 2 of them.
Is Dane watching this right now?
If he is, Icon King, hello, Dane.
Hey, bestie. What's up, bestie?
If is watching Icon King.
I mean, I have such disdain for him.
Oh my God! Stop.
I know, it was a little extra. Doug was very entertaining though this episode. Like, I really loved his facial. No, I'm not. I really loved his facial expressions during like the vote read, like the vote being read. I was like, I was living for him being like, I'm like, yeah, idiot, you should have fucking played your idol. What a moron! Like, oh my God, I was over it. He had 3 idols. Like, serious, and there's only 2 votes left. What are you doing? I actually think he didn't want to play it so like he would be such a big threat that they won't take him like to the end, or you know what I mean? Like they'll cut him and get all these idols successfully.
No, yeah. I genuinely think he's waiting to like hold 3 idols up at Final Tribal just to flex. Like at this point, like why else?
Because when I think of Doug's game, I think What's the flashy thing he can show? What has he really done in this game?
Teary-eyed. But no, that is like super impressive. If you have all of the idols and you didn't need to play a single one of them, people just went to rocks for you when you were the biggest threat to win the game. You gave one of them an idol. Like, that is insane.
Like, I think he's played a it might not be quote unquote flashy, but it's a big game. The level of control that he has and the way that he has maneuvered through this game being perceived as the threat that he is without anything being thrown at him, really. I mean, yes, he had votes thrown on him at this point, but clearly it wasn't an issue. You know, he doesn't have to be this big flashy game. He's played a game that far surpasses, I think, anybody else sitting there around him.
I think this above, like, as if it wasn't already solidified enough, as if they hadn't already handed him the win on a silver platter, this tribal council solidified that in front of the jury. They were getting that about how, you know, Doug's going to win this game. Here is your one chance to be able to take him out. He just showed you the idol that he has, that he's going to make it to Final Four with. Vote this man out. And in front of the jury, Tim and Santi said no.
They said, "Go bestie, pull out that idol. Go bestie."
Yeah. So
Jack, do you like Doug's confessionals?
No.
Really? Oh my god,
No.
I live for that.
We're doing
I love how
anything about
cocky
these
they
people.
are.
No, I can tell you that when I
Doug
edited these
confessionals
confessionals,
that I hate.
I hated him the moment, like 5 minutes into his first confessional. I was like, I hate this man already, and that was at week 7. So you can imagine my distaste when Andrew sent me the files for the final 6 confessionals, and I saw that Doug was
He's
still
still
there,
there.
and I was like, you got it. And then to find out that he had 3 idols, and I was like, oh my god. It was just the worst. But he's probably a lovely person.
Oh, he's a great person.
I
Just
love him. Oh.
not in this season.
Hey Doug, if you're watching, hey bestie.
You don't need to lie. He can see the stream. We've already referenced it. My favorite line from Jack's stream has always been, Doug came on and you went, "Get this freak off my screen." And I was rolling.
I did say that, I did.
Well, look, Doug is still here somehow. The survivor gods hate us and they want us to suffer. So here's a question I have. Is going to rocks and surviving, like, by your choice, something that you can call to as a move in this game, like fire making or anything? Or is it, no, I don't respect it at all.
I don't think going to rocks intentionally is ever an intelligent move unless you are doing it knowing that you are being saved by the rocks move. That is the only way it is a quote-unquote resume piece.
Yeah, you can't
And
say
therefore, it kind of is for Doug. That's it.
I
Doug
agree.
had people go to rocks for him.
Watching this tribal, this was 100% a Doug move. Like 100%, like, and Tim, like, this can be a good move for Tim too, of making it go to rocks.
Yeah, make deals too. Like,
But like,
wheel and
no,
deal.
like, not drawing the wrong rock, like, that's not a resume builder. That's like, you got lucky. You had a 66% chance of getting lucky and you got it.
Although I'm not sure how you would say it's a Tim move here.
Well, just in the sense of, like, this was a good move for Tim. His side won out and he had no risk.
But Tim's like bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
No,
in
I'm
this
aware. I'm speaking in Tim's mind.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
that makes sense.
From an outside stance, no, this is like, from an outside stance, nothing Tim does is good. But in Tim's perspective, he's like, I have immunity. If I make it go to rocks, like, I have nothing to lose.
This is a good comment.
It was a good move for this. Oh, go for. Oh no!
I will say this: not only did they go to rocks for Doug, they also went to rocks for Dane. Let's not forget that Dalaran and Angie put their games on the line for Dane. Dane trained
because they really wanted to get out Doug, and they know that Doug is like gonna win if they don't do something about it. And then Santi and Tim ruined it.
This was not a Dane move.
Yeah, it's true.
Dane is won the game, baby.
None of that discussion was about Dane at all. None of it. They didn't. I don't think they even brought Dane up. I think they forgot he was there. They were just talking about Doug.
Hey, baby, whatever it takes to get to the end.
And honestly, it was a chance to at least take out Santi, Doug's biggest ally. You know, like. risk it for that. It's a shame
Who
that
also
Angie
had
was
an
out
idol,
on it,
so-
but
Also had an idol. Insane.
Who was voted out last week?
Lost the challenge by one number, which they fucked up.
Last
Which would've-
Oh yeah, I remember that. Listening to the confessionals, they're like, Anders messed up the numbers on the combo platter.
Yeah, yes, I messed up one of the numbers and had to tell them. But to be fair, that was only one of the locks. They still couldn't get the first lock done for like 40 minutes. Like, that is not on me. That is learn to count.
Who was voted out last week?
Abby.
Abby.
Abby. Okay. She was like up like Santi's butt, right?
No.
No.
What?
Not at all.
Okay, my bad.
No.
I
she
really paid
she-
attention a lot to this episode because I knew it was gonna be on this.
she
But
was the
listen,
one
fine.
putting Doug on
What-
blast for the idols.
That's
yeah,
right.
She,
That's right.
She
That's
wanted
right.
to go for Doug, and then he won immunity, and so she's like, whatever Dalaran wants. And then Dalaran
This
went,
is-
roommate squad.
Yeah, this is a case of like the underdogs, like not flipping early enough. Like that's what the
Yeah.
season is. Like if they had just done this a week earlier, they would have had the votes.
Well, I think what happened a lot of the time is that like the underdogs would throw the other underdogs under the bus on their way out because the majority was just so tight, and they couldn't like Morgan threw Amanda under the bus, and then Amanda threw I forget who Amanda threw under the bus, but
Yeah.
like it just
Maybe.
like yeah, like they couldn't get the number, they couldn't work together. They just kept fighting each other. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. It's because the minority, up till this point, the minority was never working together.
I
Like
think
they were all just connected to somebody in the majority, and it was just like they didn't understand the majority was a thing. They thought it was two separate sides. It's just that this whole season has been the story of like two people having all the power, and nobody doing anything to change that because they thought that everybody thinks that they're Doug's right-hand man until it's too late to realize that they're not.
I mean, honestly, like at this point, especially with Angie going here, as annoying as it is to see a steamroller take the season, like you have to give it to him. He kind of deserves it at this point. Like everybody handed this game to him, and he played it really masterfully. It is watching him play as a masterclass and seeing a really strong strategic social game.
Could not agree more. Could not agree more. I have said it like time and time again. Doug is so good at this game. He is infuriatingly good at this game. It's just, and like, yeah, that's why people don't like watching him because he's so good. And everybody else just doesn't want to do anything about it because he has worked himself in a position where everybody is his friend.
It's not the most entertaining game as for an audience, but in terms of actual player quality, it's top tier all-star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doug, and I know Doug from being a Survivor Maryland player and in the org or whatever. He's so freaking likable, and you just like want to be his best friend, and you don't care if he's screwing you or lying to you, and you know he is. He's so likable. Oh, I love him. I love him. But he's evil, very evil.
Yeah.
Everyone called him every morning to get themselves in the schedule for Doug's appointments, Survivor appointments. He had to book in advance, like days in advance, in order to talk to him because he's just so popular.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
And he
they'd call
played-
him up and
he
he'd be
played
"Sorry, I'm
so
on the phone
hard."
with other people."
Yeah.
I
ridiculous.
mean, let's also make an acknowledgement here. I think we could have seen something happen in like Final 8 or Final 9, but Sadie didn't want to make a move against Doug. She recognized she didn't want to take him to the end, but didn't want to make a move until Final 5. It's like, for every time that we say the underdogs didn't do something, it's like Abby and Dalaran ceded their power to Sadie. Sadie ceded her power to Doug. So
Yeah.
it really is like Doug just had enough of a web to enough people that there was nothing there.
Exactly.
Angie and Dane ceded
Yeah.
their power to Tim. Tim was with Doug. Sadie
I
was
bet
with-
Sadie doesn't vote for Doug in the finals because
Oh,
like
I disagree.
I think
Oh.
she's gonna be bitter.
No, it's been hinted like the dialogue of Sadie at like Tribal or like whatever, like she's been saying, like it doesn't seem like she's very pro Doug at the moment. At
That's what I'm
least
saying. I
my-
think she'll be bitter towards Doug.
Yeah, because I think Santi's winning, so that's the
No.
tea.
Hmm.
I mean, that would be so lame. That'd be so lame.
You think
well,
Santi
absolutely.
wins sitting next to Doug still,
Who?
I don't.
what Jack was saying.
I don't.
Josh,
know.
what did you say?
I asked if he thought that Santi was winning sitting next to Doug.
I hope not. I mean, listen, the whole thing of this whole season, no offense to you, Anders, you did nothing wrong. The name of the season is called, what's it? Conflict to Change? Major Conflict? Major Conflict.
Girl, you
My
can't
major
start as
conflict-
and not know the name of the season you're going to remember.
Fine.
You're clearly
Listen.
not making a point about it if you can't remember the name.
My major conflict, and I think a lot of the viewers, is like, do I stop watching? Like is Doug the winner?
No, the answer is no. First of all,
I'm just kidding,
someone on
but that was my
show
conflict.
and ask that question. The major conflict of this season is about the majors. Or we can get into it next episode about what it is that's the major conflict. There's a theme.
I mean, can we review who is left of the original tribes in the majors? Because at this point, I forget.
Santi's just the only humanity.
Santi's the only humanities.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And the non-business major humanity. Angie
What
was
was I?
What? You're a business major. You're a marketing major,
Oh,
remember?
okay, yeah. So
You're in the same fraternity as Angie.
So I would have on Andrew's tribe. Okay, fine, cool.
I would have never cast you in this season.
Yes, you would have.
No.
If I auditioned, I would have showed up. God,
Okay.
I mean, we should honestly just pull up my season 8 audition video. I'm on next season. Okay, sorry, I'll continue. Everyone else.
No
Have I ever
way.
mentioned that I hated JS when he auditioned and refused to cast him for any
Yeah, and then
reason?
everyone was like, no, you have to cast that crazy bitch. Okay, I have a really
JS
fun
is
story,
great.
actually.
I had jaw
So-
surgery, and the first thing he says to me after I get it is, "Ew." He insults me.
He was taking chicken in the diner and throwing it in blenders, and like peas,
I was
mashed
running
potatoes,
around the diner throwing
Jello.
the blenders I brought.
Yes,
No,
and
but
he
I
was like
so-
drinking it because he had jaw
let me
surgery.
specify what's happening. So again, I got jaw surgery, and I couldn't chew food because I had jaw surgery. So I had to go in the diner and ask them to blend food for me, or just chop it up. Anyways, I'm getting my food, which I can't chew, and JS comes up, not prompted, comes up to me and says, "Ew, that looks disgusting." Anyways,
It was.
So
It was.
back to this season with no jaw
Wait, can I
surgery.
tell my story? Can I tell my story? The one I texted you about?
I have no idea what you texted me about.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, no, I think you guys know. You were in the chat room. You were in the chat room. So I'm in like rural eastern Kentucky right now, like Appalachian Mountains. Like I'm in a town of like 7,000, and I'm on Grindr, right? No, yes, correct. So I'm on Grindr because that's like whatever. And I get a
As one
message
does.
in the middle, like a tiny little town, and someone just writes "Survivor Maryland?" ? And I'm like, well, I haven't been on Survivor Maryland yet. So I'm like, oh, hey, who's this? What's going on? He's like, yeah, I think I remember you from like a recap on season 5 of All Stars, like from episode 9 of recap. And I'm like, you remember me from a recap from like 2.5 years ago? It was so crazy. Yes, he remembered me from there. So there is a viewer in the eastern Kentucky of Appalachia. Yeah, that's the story. That's
You're
really
famous.
Wow.
You made it.
Incredible.
That's
Well, I don't even get recognized for it.
You should.
Why would you?
I guess that's fair. I've been on enough recap shows. All right, so let's talk about the players that are still here, and we can go on and on about Doug and what a great player he is and how he's going to win
he's
this
the star of the
He's
season.
so
It's hard to
great.
talk about everybody else when he is
the
running
Doug
everyone
show.
over.
Well, there are still 4 people, and Doug can still go home and find
Hard to notice them at this
It's
point.
actually the Dalaran show. Come on.
Is
Roll
it?
the clip.
There's been a Dalaran winners edit, and you haven't even been watching it.
To be honest, I'm a little disappointed in her. Like I like heard all this like talk, like, oh my god, Dalaran, she's so fun, like she's great. And I don't know, like I feel like a little like like robbed a little bit from like a little pow pow, like a little punch from her. I mean, I love her as a person. She's lovely, and we've chatted and done things off camera, but I mean, like we've like texted each other, like.
Oh, wow.
But like I don't know, like where's like her pow pow?
Well, in her defense, I think it's probably the same thing as we saw with Angie, and Angie was talking about is I think it really became really hard for anyone to have a little pow pow against Doug, against this power alliance, because anytime anyone put a feeler out to try and make a move, they were put down. They were said, oh, well, let me check with this person. Let me check with this person. Let me do this. And there's no way to go against that at that point. There's no way to get the numbers.
Yeah, I feel like it all gets wrapped up in this this attitude that came from like Tim's confessional when he was like, I put out this idea of voting out Santi to Angie and to Doug, and they were like super on board, and now they're getting back to me and they're not sure. They're like, maybe not. It's like, that's been the attitude the whole season of like people being scared to make big moves because everybody is connected to Doug through somebody else. And I think that was another thing that Tim said, was he was like, everybody's connected at least through one person. Which is like, and when one person is in such a clear peak power position, then that person is just never going to go. The reason that they couldn't get a majority on Doug, that they needed this 3-2-1 vote if they were going to get him out, is because Tim was never going to vote for Doug for some reason.
Fuck! Oh my god, I'm sorry. Tim sent me a message, a comment from the episode, and it's insane. It goes, Tim is a clown. I am fuming so hard right now. Oh my god, the stupidity. Okay, I'm skipping to the funny part. This just sucks. Tim, drop out of Maryland and enroll in clown college. You'd fit right in, LOL. Oh my god.
Wait, who sent that? Who sent that?
It's just a commenter. Mel Dander, and that's funny as hell. That is so funny.
I mean, where's the lie?
But
I mean, I think he made the biggest mistake this episode. I think he really should have gotten Doug out. Like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, no, it was so stupid. It was so dumb. But I mean, it's again, it's his delusion thinking he can sit next to Doug in the end and beat him. I mean, and that's the thing, is that's what makes him, like, no offense, a lower tier player, because he doesn't have the self-awareness to know where he actually stands in this game and what it's going to look like with him sitting in the end.
Well, let's give him credit to what he said this episode. He said specifically, I'm not going to flip because you guys didn't trust me enough to loop me into this plan. What's to stop, if I flip, what's to stop you three from just voting out me and Santi next? And I think that is a good insight in this situation. Yeah. Like, he did trust Angie and Dane, and then they made a move without giving him any heads up about it. Even if he had gone along with what they had told him to do, he would have still been left out of the vote. I think him choosing someone who didn't lie to him, Doug, over the two people who did, I think that is a smart decision. I recognize that Doug is a threat, but, like, what is Tim to do? Simply get rid of Doug and then be on the bottom with people that don't trust him?
Well, no, it's when you have to kind of take control for yourself. I mean, it would be when he needs to take the driving seat, pull something together with Santi and whoever else he wants to actually move forward with in the game, but he doesn't have the pulse on it to know that his path to the end cannot involve Doug, or at least his path to a win. Because once you get down to this few of numbers, you can't just be thinking anymore of who I can trust, who is going to get me there. You have to think, what can I do to take the win at the end? And you have to just start playing more aggressively. Yes, it might get a little less reliable in terms of who you can trust, but at this point in time, you really shouldn't be trusting anybody. So you need to make the deals that you can to get there, even if it's with people you might not have worked with yet.
Yeah, but I don't think I think you're giving Tim a lot more credit than he's earned. Given that,
you know what I'm pissed about? I feel like we're giving Tim too much credit.
No, I mean, even so, like, I'm just saying.
No, we're giving him compliments instead of attacking him.
No, I
don't know. He bores me.
No, I brought this up last episode.
He is not a comedian.
I brought this up last episode on the recap too, where he said, I want Doug to bring me to the end. That's how he's viewing this game. He doesn't think he's in control. I don't think he wants to be in control, because I don't think that's how he thinks he's going to win. Because he hasn't been in control thus far. Doug has. And he still has this.
So does he just think he's going to win by being a goat?
Like, right, but I think that might
seriously.
I think that
seriously,
might be what he thinks.
Biggest pet peeve, least favorite type of person in the world, like on or off like one of these games. I just don't like that. I don't respect it. Like, if you play, you gotta fucking play to win. Like, yeah, okay, great. If you get out because you played hard, good job. You're my favorite. You know what I mean? But like this, like, ugh.
I want to highlight another comment, not from this, but from the episode. It's, Tim has to be one of the worst players I've ever seen on College Survivor. Yikes. Hope Dane somehow pulls it out. Tim,
okay,
he sucks.
I was with him the first half, and I was going to jump in like, oh, that was my comment. But it was not. No, sir.
Just so funny. Look, I will say this, because I think there are also comments that are going on about the pre-existing relationship between Santi, Tim, and Doug. And, like, that is, to anyone who's complaining about it, I want to make it clear, like, it is it's because Doug, Santi, and Tim have worked well together. They trust each other, but it's also an onus on everyone else for never making a move against it. It has never been hidden. It has never been discreet. It's been plain to see, and I think it does come down to, like, you know, they expected Tim to make a move against Santi, but he would never do it against Doug. And it's like, if you're going to want to make a move against Doug, you've just got to do it earlier. You can't rely on Tim. You can't rely on Santi to do it because it's not in their best interest to do so. And I don't think that they've been playing their game with the intention of getting rid of Doug. Like, they've been trying to build a case that doesn't require getting rid of Doug to win. I think that's something we also need to acknowledge. Like, Santi and Tim aren't necessarily trying to get rid of Doug to win. They're trying to win regardless of if Doug is at the end with them.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't blame people who cast the show that put in roommates. Like, everyone knew that. Even, like, you said it in one of the tribals early on. You're like, oh, are they roommates? Are you worried about that? And they were like, well, now's not the time. Okay, well, when's the time?
Yep. Yeah, that is always the freaking response. Now's not the time. And now look at them sitting at the end. They're
the final five.
They ran away with this freaking game. That is something like that where, you know, these two people are closer than anybody else in this game, and you're just going to let them just sit there and keep going. Make it make sense.
Even this episode, I think Angie had a moment where she was like, I'm just looking for somebody who's willing to vote out Doug eventually. Like, how much more eventually is there? Like,
Anders has told them, you got 3 tribals.
I don't know why.
2 tribals.
I was so pissed. Jack is right. I would be like, you only have at max 4 tribals. Vote out Doug. Vote out Doug.
I don't know. I'm just
people like to
imagining.
say production interference, but I would like to say that isn't a real thing. I pushed very hard for them to get rid of Doug, and it didn't work.
I watched the confessionals. Yeah, he did.
That's not. I'm joking.
Like, I'm just imagining a world where Tim, Santi, and Doug are the first boots of the season, and pure bliss. And then Evan makes final 3.
And they were roommates.
They were roommates.
Let's talk a little bit about Dane. I know that we don't want to, but too bad. He's made it here. He's received 16 votes against him, and this is, the 5th tribal in a row where he was the potential target. He's still here, and he only survived 2 more tribals.
I think he's still here as a way to put it.
He's still here.
Look, you got it. Look, if you're going to give Doug credit for running this game, you have to acknowledge that Dane has had one of the hardest routes here of any player that's still here. Like, he has had to fight nearly every round, and he's made it to the final 5. Like, I think that story of just surviving is a pretty compelling story for why someone should win, because, like, they didn't make necessarily the biggest moves, but they made enough to survive.
Yeah.
Survive.
I think this was Dane's best week so far, because I know that that's not saying much, but it's because the thing that's been, he's always had at least one thing holding him back from doing, like, the actual good thing each week, other than just surviving. Which, like, yes, it is a huge testament if you get to Final Tribal and you say, I have the most votes casted against me, and I am still here and I still made it. Like, I think that is huge. But at each step of the way, he has found himself making wrong decision after wrong decision and just not being able to, like, utilize anything. And it's because he's held back by his relationships. Like, he was held back by his relationship with Tim, and because Tim was close to Tim was close to Doug. So through that, he was unable to make any moves because he wasn't willing to do things without Tim. But this round was the first round where he did kind of come to an agreement within himself, and maybe it was just because it was right before Tribal and he didn't have time to talk to Tim, or because he understood that Tim couldn't know about this plan. But this was finally the round he was able to be like, hey, maybe I can cut myself from Tim and actually do something positive.
Dane train response, baby. Survived a 4-3, a 5-4, and rock.
I mean, I don't think that this rock situation should be attributed to Dane at all. I don't think that
He didn't do anything to like help it happen.
Nobody went to rocks for Dane here. And even if he says that in final tribal council, nobody on the jury is going to believe that anybody went to rocks for him. So
yeah,
the other
was against Doug.
It
was against Doug or to save Doug.
Right, but I think the argument to be made here is like if Dane was really such a waste of an ally, like if he was worth nothing at all, they wouldn't have gone to rocks in general. Yes, it wasn't to keep Dane safe, but they acknowledge they'd rather go to rocks than just vote Dane out. If Doug is not even an option, they would still rather do rocks than go for Dane. And I can acknowledge that, yeah, Santi would be the bigger get if they went to rocks, but like they still could have done Dane.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's not like he was doing much in that discussion period, though, to try to save himself either.
When Dane did the iconic vote for me, even though he's immune, what a king. Or when he says things like, I don't really give a shit if you're going to be sad about it. Look, Dane's going to say what he's going to say, and he's going to stay when he needs to stay. Dane train all day, baby.
Jeez.
Jesus Christmas.
I'm sorry that you guys don't support the Dane train, but it's still rolling, and it's rolled over a lot of people.
I don't hate the Dane train. I just don't think it's like a particularly interesting train.
Yeah, I'm not trying to stop it, but I'm not on it either.
It's just gonna derail. It's not going anywhere. It's gone.
I don't know. It's going to the finale. I'll tell you that.
It's going off a cliff. That's where it's going.
Spoilers, Janders.
He's getting Sareed next episode, so it doesn't even matter.
Duh.
Or will Doug get Sareed?
Or they don't play the idols.
Doug plays all of his idols on other people.
And then forget
goes home. Honestly, I would love that.
Somebody has to be getting Sareed next week, right?
I bet Santi plays his idol, and I bet Doug doesn't play any of his because he's just a little bit.
If Santi plays his, Doug will play one.
No, Doug's gonna win immunity, and then he's gonna be like, "These babies are staying in my pocket, and I bring them to final tribal council." And then he's gonna get voted out of 4th place, and it's gonna be marvelous. That's dream scenario.
My dream scenario. Angie comes back from Redemption Island.
That's my.
She wins it. Congrats, Angie! You're the 7th sole survivor.
Please.
I want to. This is a funny moment from the rock draw situation. It's when Angie got rocked. No, it's when Doug turns to Tim, who again has kept Doug safe, and says, "I'm going to kill you," because he doesn't recognize that Tim actually was voting to keep Doug around. It's very funny because it's so unwarranted. It's like Doug cannot help himself but overreact and panic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is such a good thing to do when Tim is literally deciding your fate. Again, Doug played... This is... Josh, to your point about Doug playing really well, there are some moments this season where we've seen Doug absolutely spiral and play garbage and not be attacked for it. This is definitely one of them. This is probably one of the worst performances I've seen from Doug all season. Is this moment?
I think that the kind of counter argument to that is like, yes, he has had these slip ups, but the other aspect of his game has been so strong that the slip ups didn't matter, and that's what still keeps it. So A tier, and to be fair, I think that certain level of that, like, yes, is A tier gameplay, but also there's just a certain level of charisma that certain people naturally have that you can't bottle. You can't recreate it. You can't force it. You can't try and have that. And he just has that to where people are naturally drawn to him and naturally feel comfortable with him. And it is a strength that he just has in this game, which allows him to be probably a little sloppier than other people who are playing a similar game would be able to be.
Yeah.
Because she's been carrying this season.
She has.
Her shoulder's giving out.
R.I.P.
So we have not that much to say about. Let's talk a little bit about Dalaran, because I think that we did just sort of skip over. Like she hasn't been. Look, she hasn't been doing a lot, but then this episode, out of nowhere, she is the one pushing for Doug to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Angie hesitates, but she is like, guys, you got to go for Doug. Like, I know I've not done anything, but like, go for Doug. Doug needs to go. Dalaran is here. It's final 5, and it took her a while, but she's here.
I mean,
you have to acknowledge she was the one pushing to get rid of Doug, and she's the only one remaining of that plan who's really pushing for it.
And we do have to root for her because she is our only woman left. So, last woman standing, she automatically just gets like extra support from me at least as a result.
Yeah, she'll be number 1 in my rankings for next episode. Like, that's just how it works. But
same mood.
I refuse to have a man at the top of the list. I mean, Angie's been number 1 for 14 weeks, so I mean, what are you gonna do?
But I do think that I think Dalaran is going to build some sort of resume just by being someone vocal about getting rid of Doug in a world where no one else is.
Yeah, but if that's your only resume point is I tried once to get rid of Doug, like, yeah, that's more than a lot of other people can say, but it also didn't work.
Also, like, she only started making moves because Sadie and Abby are not in the game anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, what else is she gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
other than play now? Like, you know, I want her to. I've been wanting her to do more, so much more since like the start of the season, but it's just I think a little too late.
I agree.
This is a really good comment.
We're really happy about it. We are.
Look, when they finally talked, they made the biggest move of the season, and it failed, but they did it.
I literally paused and I like screamed for like 20 seconds. I was like, "They're talking! They're talking!" I was screaming. I couldn't deal with it.
Look, some people take a while to start. Dalaran waited until Final 7 to talk to Santi, and Final 6 to talk to Angie. And now she'll finally talk to Tim. And I'm kidding. She's already talked to Tim too. So now she can finally play this game and win. All she needs to do, to say that Dalaran is the Chris Underwood of this season is probably the best comparison I can make. She was there in the beginning and then shows up at the end, and now she's here again playing the game. She's been here about as long as Chris Underwood has, so will she also win?
I mean, clearly it can happen, so...
I would love to see it.
I guess.
Give me a Dalaran win. Give it to me right now.
Really?
Absolutely.
No!
The most satisfying ending for me would be Doug losing, so anything to make that happen.
I mean, this is the thing. Realistically,
No, I want Doug
you actually
to win.
want to root against Doug at this point. You want to see him finally trip. You want to see him fall. But he's made it so far, and he's done so well. It's kind of like, it's not, who deserves this over him?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Let's
It's like
crack-
rooting against that Cody guy from BB22. It's like, well, he deserves it.
I mean,
so.
you hate it. I can still root against him. So
Exactly.
I can't root against him. He's too hot.
fair. You got me, Jack.
Exactly.
Do better, JS. Let's talk, let's talk about Santi because we didn't really talk about him that much. But I want to hear. So let's take Doug out of the equation right now because I think we're always going to default to Doug will win no matter what if he gets to the end. Doug is not going to the end. Let's put that there so we can talk about Santi and his chances. I want to at least do that because otherwise we're just going to focus on him and Doug. It's like,
Well, yeah, if Doug's not there, Santi wins. Like, there.
Is it a final 3 or a final 2? Because
3.
I feel like I heard you say final 2.
It's great.
Okay.
I told them like it's final 3 or final 2. I never specified until final 4. And
Okay.
As you should.
Yeah, I do think Santi would win if he got to the end without Doug. But if I'm being honest, I don't see much that he's done.
I think his game is very relationship oriented.
I completely agree.
And I think that's a valid way to play. I just think comparatively to Doug, like it could just be like, yeah, you had relationships, but Doug had idols and like a hierarchy of like minions.
Yeah, Doug also had relationships too. It's not like he has that over Doug. And I'm let's steer away from the Doug conversation. But like, yeah, I think Santi has played a respectable, like loyal hero game to get here to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think that he would win if he got there without Doug. I think people would point to him as being like, you were a big threat throughout the entire thing. You made it here, like good for you. You had solid relationships. But then there were other people that he, like he destroyed his relationships with, or like that he didn't really talk to at all. So
yeah, if Doug doesn't win, then it should be Santi. And then anyone else, I'm just like very annoyed.
Okay, if Santi and Doug get eliminated in the next 2 rounds, and it's the final 3.
How? They have 40,000 idols
That
between
is
the two
not
of
the
them.
question. The question is.
I mean, they won't play them, but.
I mean, if they're both gone, then Dalaran, like, because we're here for a woman winner. Like, that's it.
No.
Okay.
I'm here for the Dane train at that point. I'm sorry, I have to say it.
If it's Tim, Dane, and Dalaran at the final 3, I think Dane has my vote.
Actually, you're not wrong. Yeah, I guess like when you do look at it that way.
What is this turned into? Last week I was literally like puking on my like screen when I saw Dane on the screen, but now I'm just like, wait a minute, Dane, what's up, girl? Like, it's weird. Just because he like made a move this week, he like tried to do something. He like showed an ounce of like brains. So I don't know. But no, I don't know. Dalaran hasn't shown me enough this season. She's very lovely. I love her. She's great. But she hasn't shown me enough like oomph, like enough like trying to like be a winner in my book.
She dabbed. That's a winning move.
Oh yeah. Jury vote.
That's almost worse.
I remember I put in the comments or like when I was like transcribing the confessionals, I was like, include the dab, please. Or I just said, I was like, she dabs.
Wait, have you done the confessionals for season 8?
No, that hasn't been touched. Calm down.
It's going to be released in 2 weeks, don't worry.
It's coming out after the finale immediately.
Period.
I said I really just don't want to do anything with my life for the next 3 years, baby.
That's what you did when you signed up.
That's what I did say. I did say these things, and I'm proud of it. This is a moment that I laughed at, and I think I saw Jack laugh at too. It's when I introduced the challenge as combo platter, and Angie goes, "Oh no," as if she knows what it is.
I was like, she doesn't know what this is. She's like, oh no.
Yeah, because if her mind went where my mind went, then she thought it was going to be an eating challenge.
Okay,
that's where my mind went. That's what I thought.
Okay, I was so confused in the moment too, and she went, "Oh no!" I'm like, does she know what this challenge is? Like,
I mean, she watched, but they didn't do this challenge until season 4, and that probably.
No, that had come out by this time.
Oh, so
yeah,
then maybe she knew it.
Not All Stars.
No. Actually, let me double check when the Rocks. Rocks came out during the summer.
I don't really like watching the numbers challenge because it's hard to follow. That's like my one input on numbers.
Cool. Well,
like,
I'll keep that in mind
when he films next season.
Well, I don't think you ever did it.
I actually don't like how this challenge is run. All right. Well, it's 4 years too late to do anything about it, but I appreciate the input.
But you didn't do it on 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah, I didn't. I think that's because I messed up the numbers on this one and didn't want to repeat that. Look, okay, we all make mistakes every single time we run a game, and sometimes you just ignore it and pretend it doesn't happen.
You realize that you were never going to top Victoria winning and jumping into Chris Thomas's arms after.
I saw that happen in real time. There was never going to be a moment where they keep Alex G safe for 2 rounds and then immediately get rid of him afterwards.
Had to be done.
Had to be done. Oh, queens. But we have new queens now, and that's Angie, Dalaran, and Dane. The trio that we always wanted.
Oh my god.
Well, I think Dane, if he doesn't win immunity, he's going out next round.
Oh.
Yeah. He's getting.
Yeah,
got to pull a Chris Thomas and win.
Okay, let's assume Dane goes out, right? Okay, and then let's assume the final 4, right? And now no idols are played because they were all like, put up as souvenirs on the wall. Who do we think, the roommates go for? Do they go for the easy Dalaran? Do they turn on one another?
I feel like they might go for Tim.
Yeah, I think. Tim getting 4th place.
Yeah,
I had to smile actually.
Honestly, like Doug has. I feel like maybe after this vote it's different because Dalaran did just try to get him out. But I feel like Doug would rather go up against Dalaran than Tim, and I think
that honestly, as an interaction to watch, that is so funny. Because of it's like
I think they have to turn against Doug though. Like, are they kidding?
He's not going to.
They're not.
No. And so at best, it'll go to a tie.
Yeah, but I could see Doug and Santi bringing Dalaran so they could be like, Dalaran tried to make a move against us. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So pay attention to us too.
I think Doug and Santi are sticking together regardless, and I think like I do agree. I think they'd have an easier time bringing in Tim than Dalaran at that point.
I mean, we will of course see with the finale next week. The finale, which right now is over 2 hours, trying to work on that.
It's sis.
I don't
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to bring snacks for my life.
You should have a reunion, Janders.
The plan is next week to have on Monday night the Final 5 reunion, and then the day after have a live show, because obviously if it premieres at 7 and it's 2 hours, I'd rather like start almost right after with people who were there than people who just had to experience it.
And it'll be great to see Teresa again, so that's nice.
Oh, it's just gonna be the Final 5. Everyone else is you want me to bring on all the people and have them talk about the game?
I want Teresa.
Yeah, I think Teresa should host.
Teresa was
I
robbed.
think Teresa should host. Yeah,
she was so fun. Herself. She was not robbed.
She was robbed. She wanted to give her tribe a good tribal council at 7 a.m, and they just took it and just threw it back at her face.
They really fucked up about it.
We can get this tribal out of the way and go on with our day. We don't have to stress all. Like, she was thinking about the tribe. Okay, anyways, Final 5. What's up?
If only.
Teresa.
I like Teresa.
We all love Teresa.
We all love Teresa.
She's just not good at the game.
Yeah.
Teresa
Teresa
was
was
amazing
great.
at the game. That's what.
Ivy was great. Who was the guy who was like Gucci?
Evan.
He was great. Yeah. Those were like my standouts from the pre-merge. I would say, like people who I would cast on
Jasmine,
TV.
What
Liam,
about
or Mike or Eric?
Hottie Chris?
Eric was great, and Mike was good. Mike was fine.
But not Jasmine.
Oh, also, you know what? I really enjoyed Morgan, and
she's not from the pre-merge.
I know, but I enjoyed watching her.
We all did. We all did.
Great cast, Andrews. Great job. Great work.
Thank you. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they decided Doug should really go to the end.
No, what you did, Ronnie Anders, was not making that piece of tape the idol.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I voted is expecting someone with 4 clues to find the idol, and not give it to someone else to immediately find, or for someone who has an advantage to use it instead of just going home with it.
The idols are so hard to find. Like, oh god, and so everyone assumed that they were like already found.
I think this season is the reason I made it harder to find the idols, because I went, this is never happening again.
Because they had such an easy time this season.
Because I'm not letting someone just get 3 items.
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut about next season.
Just because you
No, I don't think I made it harder. I just think I was like, I hope this never happens again.
You know what I want to say right now. You know what I want to say.
I know what you want to say, and I want.
Guys, I can't wait to talk about this bullshit. Oh my god! I mean, it's like so crazy, so stupid.
I won't talk about it. You'll have to.
But here I am.
Period.
Guys, can I just give like a little promo?
No.
Season 8 is the best season. No, I'm serious. Like, it is the best season of Survivor Maryland. Austin said, and I quote, "Wow, this season is better than All Stars." End quote. He said it.
Great. Well, we're still on season 7, so let's get really excited for the finale of that.
It's so bad.
Oh my god! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Sis, the major conflict is when to turn it off.
All right. Well, he's out of here. I made the conflict deciding whether or not I should mute him or just kick him. Anyways, JS are going to be better. Great, perfect. All right, well, we're going to end this anyways. I think that we covered it. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about or bring up? Not you, JS.
Moment of silence.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad of a season. I'm enjoying Doug and Santi.
I like how Jack said moment of silence and JS said, but allow me.
Guys, I don't do those. I'm not good at silence. All right. No, I love Angie. Like, it's really sad.
All right. Well, Erin, do you have anything that you'd like to plug?
No. Still unemployed. Throw me a job.
JS, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I just did season 8.
Okay, great. Jack, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Throw me a job too, but also follow me on Twitter at Jack Connors, and also on Twitch, where I watch every Survivor Maryland episode weekly, every Monday at 7 p.m. And we have a fun time, and we hate Doug together, and we stand Angie, but not anymore. But
You can be a part of the 4 trillion army, 4 trillion people who subscribe to Jack.
come on, damn.
Follow him on TikTok. He makes great TikToks.
Yeah, follow me on TikTok. Yeah, Jack Connors. Woo.
Josh, is there anything that you would like to? Do you care that I say Josh?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Joshua doesn't matter. No, I can't plug anything. Indoors next season is all returners. So, join the server, watch the season. But other
If you guys like orgs, do them.
Yeah.
If you're ever watching this show and you go, these people are stupid and I wish they'd make some moves, I highly recommend to find an online game and play it and realize it's a lot harder than it looks, but also you should never let this happen. If you ever hear anyone is close to another person, you cut that shit off immediately. I don't care how much you like them or how hot they are. They gotta go. Okay,
Oh my god,
I get it.
Sequester is so good.
He gotta go. What?
Sequester, I'm really enjoying it.
It's a show.
Look, I'm not gonna
Ooh,
slander
sweet.
Sequester here.
No,
yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
No, I
Sequester is good.
enjoyed
Watch
it.
it. Nothing else to say about that. I mean, the season 4 is out. I don't know when it releases. I wish I knew
Sunday
more.
night.
But
Sundays, yeah, Sundays. at
Sunday
9.
nights. Brent, I live for him. Love Brent.
okay. Well, anyways, I don't know. Anyways, thank
It's
you guys so
off
much
topic.
for
It's
watching.
okay.
We really appreciate it. Next week is going to be the finale of Major Conflict. So if you're like JS and you're like, man, I'm a little baby and I'm unhappy. Well, there's only one more episode, but I promise it is good. And then season 8
Oh
will
yeah,
be
yeah. I know the ending. I know who wins. It's gonna be
great. Anyways, catch us next week, and then we're gonna have a reunion with the final 5. So Dalaran, Dane, Doug, Santi, and Tim will be joining us after
And
the show.
Teresa.
And Teresa will be joining us after the show to be talking about the season, their opinions, how they're feeling, and we'll roast the shit out of them, especially Tim, who should drop out and enroll in clown college.
I agree.
Other than that, thank you guys so much for a wonderful night. See you next week, baby. Also, next Tuesday will be the live show. So if you want to see me, Erin, and a couple special guests talk about the finale and the season as a whole, tune in for that. It'll be great. It'll be exciting. And if you have any questions, please send them to us. Also, follow us on Twitter at UMD Survivor and on Instagram at UMD Survivor. Bye.